Good evening. My name is Joe DeFennis, and I'm the chairman of the Norman Howard School Board of Trustees. It is with great pleasure to welcome you this evening to this very special event. This is Norman Howard School's 41st graduation ceremony, and we are here this evening to celebrate the class of 2024 and the hard work they and their families put forth to get to this milestone. I know it wasn't always easy, but you did it, and we hope that you, as you leave here this evening to start the next chapter, that you will remember what your teachers taught you and use those tools to help you find continued success. On behalf of the Norman Howard School Board of Trustees, congratulations.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests, and beloved family and friends. Welcome to this evening's commencement ceremony. I am honored to be able to speak on behalf of the Norman Howard School class of 2024. I extend my heartfelt gratitude for you for being here and witnessing our journey to this monumentous occasion. Your support and guidance have been irreplaceable. I would also like to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude and appreciation to Ms. O'Donnell, whose dedication and commitment have made our senior year genuinely memorable. For those of you who may not know me, I am Cottrell Grover. I came to Norman Howard in 2016. Throughout my years at NHS, I've always looked at the senior class and thought, one day I'm going to be there. One day I'm going to be that senior. This feeling felt so far away, but clearly it wasn't, because today we are all standing up here, receiving our diplomas and graduating and moving on to the next chapter of our lives. Our paths may have been different, but our destination is the same. Each of us have faced our own battles to reach this point. As your friend and classmate, I am filled with pride for all of us. We have all demonstrated resilience and determination. And today we stand together, ready to take on the world. To the parents, your unwavering support and sacrifices have brought us here, and for that, we are forever grateful. To the esteemed faculty and staff, your guidance, patience, and willingness to help when we needed it most have shaped us into the individuals we are today. Most of all, thank you for showing us how we can be successful in our own way. When people come into your life, you never really know how much they will mean to you, or how much of an impact they will make on your life. It's in these unexpected moments that we find the true value of our relationships. And it's these moments that we should cherish the most. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2024.
Good evening. I'm Rosemary Hodges, Norman Howard School's Director of Education. And Renee Weeder, Director of Students, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to the class of 2024. Before we get started, I would like to recognize a few individuals who are here with us in person. And first of all, I would like to take a moment to recognize one very special person, one of the founders of the Norman Howard School. She's in the audience tonight, Madeline Brody. We are gathered here tonight celebrating achievement, resilience, and success because of Madeline. She and our school's founders had a vision and a foundational belief that all children can succeed when given the opportunity and support to do so. For 44 years, this belief has been infused in all aspects of our work. Thank you, Madeline, for many years of involvement and enduring dedication. Also, we would like to acknowledge the CEO of Education Success Foundation, Joe Martino, and the Norman Howard School Board of Trustees. We are happy to have you here with us tonight to celebrate the achievements of our graduates. Each year, seniors select someone who's had an impact on their lives to speak for them at graduation. So I will call each graduate and their speaker to the podium so the speaker can share some insight regarding their soon-to-be high school graduate. So we start with Charles Richard Calcani, and speaking for Charlie is Adam Salufo.
Hi there, I'm Adam Salufo, and I'm super pumped to have the honor to say a few words about Charlie Calcani, which many people use and say the G, but we learned that we don't use the G. I've known Charlie for 4 years, as I was his earth science teacher for 2 years, his ecology teacher for 2 years, his advisor for 2 years, ski club and outdoor ed guru. We've come a long way since masks and COVID as 9th graders. I basically forced Charlie to join ecology during his junior year. It was literally the 3rd day of class, and I was teaching the kids how to recycle for our Friday lab scenario. I walked my students into the library, and I see Charlie and another former student sitting around. I said, "Hey man, what are you doing up here?" He says, "Hey Mr. C, me and Eric have study hall these mods." And I said, "Not anymore." "How about learning about the environment, going outside a bunch, and being a part of a bunch of field trips?" He says, "Yeah, I guess that sounds good. I like to go outside and play golf, but I don't know much about all the other stuff." I said, "You better believe it sounds good. We're gonna change your schedule. Grab your things, because you're now in ecology." And it changed his world. Notice the science pun. Thank you. He displayed all the greatest qualities you want to see in a student: responsibility, trustworthiness, drive, energy, respect, ability to work with his peers and adults. I'm talking about some serious leadership qualities, and he loved the class. So much so that as a senior, he joined ecology too, and I had him run point on a bunch of different labs. In fact, all he wanted to do in college was to play golf and study golf course management. But I'm happy to report that Charlie has signed on to major in environmental science at NAS. I mean, you could have just had a study hall and none of this would have happened. Charlie likes to take my keys home. Another story. During his junior year, he and another advisee of mine would come to advisory, set the tables into different patterns, place chairs and other obstacles all over the place, and creatively invented a tennis ball game with a certain number of bounces and a certain number of lives, and used their homework time super appropriately. They were instructed to tell anyone who stopped in that they were working on a laws of physics experiment for science class. Just remember that this is your path. Make it your adventure. Good or not good, it's all part of the experience. You came into your own the last 2 years, started making a bunch of your own decisions, being comfortable with yourself, having a voice. That only increases from here on out. But with your super solid family behind you, a great head on your shoulders, and solid inspiration from yours truly, the sky's the limit. But only the troposphere, because unless you're an astronaut, you're staying in the same atmosphere we're all in. Second science joke. Charlie's going to Nazareth for environmental science and to play college golf. He finished another outstanding golf season at HFL, where he was the #1. He plays so much golf, he wears golf PJs, walks around supermarkets with his 9-iron, has golf tees behind his ears, and wears his golf spikes more often than not. In fact, I have a story. Charlie likes to wear his golf shoes with no socks when he gets bit by mosquitoes. Just like when we were making maple syrup all night 2 weeks ago. At 6 a.m., him and Jack Ingle looked like they had been eaten by vampires, and they just kept falling asleep in the chairs around the campfire. But at least he was wearing his golf spikes. So I have one request. If someday you make the Nike Tour or even the PGA, put me on your bag as your caddy. No, I'm serious. Hear me out. We could go viral. I actually just learned that terminology from Mimi this year, so thanks, Memes. Imagine this, announcer voice. That's me. And here we have a newcomer to the tour, Charlie Calcani. Bob says, "Don't pronounce the G, Jimbo, it's silent." All right, Charlie Calcani. And get this, his caddy is his high school science teacher. Wow, what a story this is. So, if you fade back to now, immediate love and total viral story. I'll start preparing this summer. I'm only walking during my golf league from here on out. I know we only get 2 minutes, which is super difficult to only talk about this young man, but for that short amount of time. But let me finish by stating that in my 21 years here, I've been at Norman Howard. I've had a ton of students in my classes. I've done a boatload of these speeches. This is one of the most bittersweet. Well, you may not have had a student nicer than this guy next to me in that entire time. And I'm super proud of the man he's turned into. The old adage goes, nice guys finish last. But not here, not now, and not with this guy. We've been on a lot of trips, outdoor hiking adventures, crazy kayaking, made maple syrup, made apple cider, created a dynamite organic garden, and planted a bunch of new trees in the orchard. I'd say you've had the full outdoor experience. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments, Charlie. You've earned it, and you'll do fantastic in the next phase of your life.
And now speaking for George T. Chapman III is Sarah Ernestine.
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah Ernestine. I have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of George Chapman tonight. Although I was able to work with George in ELA this year, I've gotten to know this young man outside the school setting, working with him in various musicals throughout these past years. In fact, we are missing rehearsal tonight to be here for graduation. So it is worth it, yes. In most of the shows we've done together, George has often played the comedic characters, whether walking around the stage cleaning up after a bunch of gorillas, or speaking in a New York accent. George was meant for the stage. Not only does he do a wonderful job of transforming himself into various characters on stage, he is quite the character in real life as well. Upon meeting George, one may find him to be quiet and reserved. One might say he has a tough exterior. But as you peel away those layers, you will find a human being who deeply cares for those around him. Once you gain George's trust, he will do anything for you. He is a true gentleman. One recent story comes to mind. I was the stage manager for a show, so I was watching the action from the wings, and one of the girls had to come down the stairs quickly to join the rest of the cast for their bows. And she had heels and a very large skirt on. George, seeing her struggle, walked back to her, offered her his hand, and helped her down. That's the kind of person George is. He will never hesitate to help someone who is in need. Theater, like the Norman Howard School, is a close-knit community. People who perform in shows with you aren't just your cast members, they become your family. Whether in a show at Norman Howard or performing with the Main Street Players, George has become part of quite the large family. He would do anything for us, and in turn, every single one of us would do anything for him. I'd like to give George and the rest of the class of 2024 some advice. And it should come as no surprise that this advice comes in the forms of lessons I've learned from musicals. Specifically, musicals George and I have done together. Everything is possible, even the impossible. So believe in yourself, reach further, work harder, and achieve your goals. Put your faith in what you most believe in. Trust your heart and embrace the connections you share with those around you. Courage does not erase our fear. Courage is when we face our fear. Approach your life with a positive attitude, even in tough circumstances. You are not a simple sponge. Always remember that the power of optimism can save the world. If you do what you love with your time, then you win. It may take a while, but find the things you love doing and keep doing them. No one is alone. Even when things seem the most difficult, you don't have to go through those things alone. Your family will always have your back. Sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. Don't be a bystander. If you see an injustice in the world, challenge it. Who says my dreams have to just stay my dreams? You all can do whatever you set your minds to, and if you believe in it enough, it will become your reality. George, celebrate your accomplishments and cherish each moment. To the graduates, we look forward to seeing what you all do in the future. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2024 and George Chapman.
Robin Padetti will now speak for Jordan Lynn Green.
Jordan since she started here in 5th grade. So perhaps you've heard, not all heroes wear capes, meaning heroes are ordinary people who do extraordinary things, usually first responders, doctors, law enforcement, or the military. But I say the parents that are out here, or grandparents who've worked tirelessly to get their students here, have been no less than heroic. And all the students on this stage are heroes who wear caps and gowns. They are the real heroes, and here's why. Traditional learning is typically reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And if a student is good in one, or some, or all of those, school can be a breeze. But it is doable. Now imagine, if you had to learn something that doesn't come naturally, for me it would be money, or Braille, or musical notes, or Japanese, or mechanics. I don't think I could stick with it. I really don't. I think that I'd give up, or quit, or feel anxiety, overwhelmed, nauseous, question what's wrong with me, isolate, withdraw, and not really like myself ever. Think about that for just a minute. What can't you do? And imagine, how long would you last? 6 hours a day for a month? A year? How about 12 years? That's what these guys have done. And I think they are all heroes. So, they are fighters. Jordan is a fighter. They have grit. Jordan has grit. She kept her eyes on the prize, this diploma, this night, this cap and gown. But Jordan started her extraordinary journey as a tiny 5th grader who had to stand on a chair to be the same height as the rest of her peers. And she really tried to be as invisible as possible, not both in posture and her speech, especially in the presence of her peers. If she spoke at all in class, it was kind of a whisper with a rising inflection, indicating some self-doubt. She kept her head down to avoid eye contact, and she did not want to invite questions, expectations. And she wrote me a note one time, and I still have it. There's a picture in here, and it says, "Thank you for being a not scary teacher." Well, when I read that note, I thought, you know, that was a lot of insight into how Jordan felt about school prior to 5th grade. School was scary, teachers were scary, everything was scary. Now, she ends her extraordinary journey as a confident young woman who stands tall and strong, friendly, social, funny, brave, and outspoken. Jordan says what she thinks, and she means what she says. There's more anecdotes in here, but it's too long. Okay, so Jordan loves animals. She has cared for and ridden horses her whole life. Jordan has been thrown off a horse and gotten back on, just like school. Thrown off, gotten back on. That's the stuff she's made of. She's had 5 cats, we won't talk about them, but she's had at least 15 dogs, foster and her own, most of whom she loves Beanie, Badini, and Beanie Weenie. All the same, and then there's Delta, Chloe, Maggie, Penny, Ella, Sadie, Bella, Lexi, Lucy, Grace, Echo, Cooper, Willa. Yeah, and I have pictures of them in here because she tested me to see if I remembered their nicknames and what else? Oh, their gender, yes. Okay, so I believe Jordan's love for animals is a beautiful byproduct of her shyness around people. Animals didn't judge her, expect her to fit in, change you, be better. They always listened, I'm gonna cry. Loved and accepted her for Jordan being Jordan. That's likely how she became the animal whisperer she is and will be, both in her personal and professional life, as she attends the New York Academy of Pet Styling, and she's gonna turn her passion into her career, so bring your dogs to her. Okay, finally, Jordan has been known to say, you know what? Well, Jordan, you know what? Real heroes wear caps and gowns, and for all you've done, and for all you've overcome, congratulations, you're a hero.
speaking for Cottrell Bailey Grover is Alexis Pomputis.
Hi everyone, my name is Lexi and I am Cottrell's favorite and much shorter cousin, as well as godmother. Although I can't tell you exactly when you became taller than me, I can tell you that I've loved watching your confidence bloom, your personality grow, and your generosity unfold here at Norman Howard. I am honored and humbled you asked me to speak on your behalf. With your time here at Norman Howard coming to a close, you will certainly never forget some of the greatest memories you have ever made. From starting your drama club career in 6th grade here on the stage as the bookseller in Beauty and the Beast to ending it now with the best cast, crew, and memories made as a senior playing Ursula. While your casting roles have drastically gone to the dark side, I am so proud of the growth and confidence that your time in the drama club has brought you. Along with drama club, seeing you shine through the Best Buddies program where you attended and organized events shows your commitment and dedication to others. Your strong determination shows your kindness and compassion for the inclusion of students of all abilities. Now as you begin your next days, months, and years at Fredonia, keep in mind you will encounter plenty of new things. You will have some of the best days full of new friends, new experiences, and new expectations. You will have many long nights full of laughter with friends, studying in the library, and maybe even playing midnight room ball. Just give it a shot, it's a lot of fun. But remember all the people who got you to where you are. Mom and dad, those pesky siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, the endless teachers that encouraged you, and all of your friends starting their journeys right alongside you. All of those people will still be right there with you, even if they're not by your side every day. Cottrell, you are the witty joke I wish I was quick enough to think of first. You're the best buddy I wish everyone had, and you are the kind soul I strive to be every day. You are one of a kind human being that the world is just starting to see, and I can't wait to have a front row seat to see all that you do in this next chapter. I have 2 sentences left. For you, Cottrell, and the rest of the Norman Howard class of 2024, you will all change the world. In what capacity? That's up to you. Change one person's life or hundreds, but don't stop until you make a difference. You were all born for big things, and you'll each shine in your own way. Congratulations, class 2024.
And now Santiago Boigas will speak for Elizabeth Catherine Henry.
Good evening. My name is Santiago Boigas, and I wanted to start by saying how very proud of you I am, Elizabeth, and how honored I feel to have been asked to speak for you at your graduation ceremony this evening. As many of you may know, I have taught Spanish to Elizabeth for the last 3 years. I was also her advisor last year. But what many of you may not know is that she was the very first Norman Howard School student I ever met, even before classes had started. As I remember it, Ms. Baker, then co-head at our school, introduced me to Elizabeth, who at the time seemed like a very shy and quiet student, and told me she would be in one of my Spanish sections. Shy as she was, I soon discovered that Elizabeth was not quiet, but quite the conversationalist. I had an infectious sense of humor and displayed such a wonderful learning that she soon became one of the most amazing students I have ever had the pleasure to teach. Elizabeth, not only are you bright, capable, and articulate, but throughout our many conversations, I have also discovered that you have a strong sense of dedication to friends, family, and work. Characteristics that have remained a constant during your time at the Norman Howard School. I have also learned from our conversations about your sensible academic goals and personal aspirations, which allow me to say with confidence that you have what in Spanish we refer to as la cabeza en su sitio, or as you say in English, a good head on your shoulders. Because of all those wonderful qualities, I am excited to see where you will go from here. And I know you will do great things in college and beyond, because you have put in all the hard work. This will lead you to a bright future of success and achievement. So congratulations to you, Elizabeth. Be assured, I know you will be able to successfully tackle everything that the future holds in store for you.
And now speaking for Miles F.S. Howe is Benjamin Doremus.
Why is everybody smiling? This graduating class is selfish. All you seniors are so transfixed on yourselves, concerned about your next steps, your futures, your achievements. What about me? Not a single one of you has bothered considering what your absence would do to me, especially this one. Mr. Milo Howe. Who do you think you are? Standing there all tall and dapper, like an Asian James Bond. Tonight's gotta be all about you, doesn't it? Let's talk all about Milo and his accomplishments. I suppose you thought I was just gonna sit here and say how honored I am to be giving this speech. Talk about all your myriad accomplishments, how you're a wonderful writer, how you think deeply, and how empathetic and considerate you are. All of your many talents in drawing and singing and pottery and Poseidon knows what else. And how you always brought such joy to my classroom. How you're especially wise beyond your years. Mr. Howe, I think you're so smart, don't I? You know what? Fine. I'll put on a happy face for this circus charade. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight and to celebrate this joyous occasion. I'm going to need a little help from the audience really quickly for a second, if you don't mind. Knock, knock. Who's there? Milo. Milo who? No, it's Milo Howe. Knock, knock. Who's there? Milo Howe. No, guys, it's just Milo Howe. Milo, I'm going to miss you so much. I will even miss the lengthy amount of time it took to locate any one of your documents due to your penchant for giving them all indecipherable labels. Seriously, the title of Milo's Of Mice and Men Chapter 5 Questions document was 522 letter M's. Guess how long it took me to find it? Another document title contained 866 U's, I counted all of them, and another document contained 2,196 M's. At least one was titled, Hi, it's me, hey. Several were titled, Yes, Queen. And my favorite title of the bunch was labeled mercifully with only 2 words, your mom. Milo, I wish you luck with your modeling prospects in the future, should you choose to go in that route. Here's some quick advice about the modeling game. Photographers will love you if you listen to their prompts and hit all your marks. Be ready for anything. Practice your expressions in front of a mirror so your face actually does what you want it to do. For a long time, even though I thought I was smiling, my facial expression was more of a mix between a dead squirrel and an unnaturally aged woman from the Dust Bowl. My smile had the approachability of a serial killer with rabies and the personality of a stumpy nub of chalk. Don't worry though, you have a great smile, you'll do just fine. Knock knock. It's the coolest, most charismatic, most cognitive, creative, most awesomest person about to hit the streets of Earth to show you what he's got and make it even cooler, even more cognitive, even more creative, and even more awesome. Skinniest queen standing up on the stage right now. Ladies and gentlemen, People Senator 2024, it's Milo Live.
And now Kathleen McKenzie will speak for Samuel Huang.
All right, well, they say that time flies when you're having fun, and it must be true. Because it feels like just yesterday that I met Sam for the first time as a 7th grader at Norman Howard. Sam has always been a hard worker, a person who strives for excellence in all he does. He has a strong moral compass, and he holds himself to a very high standard. None of that has changed, and I suspect it won't anytime soon. But one thing that has changed has been Sam's ability to think in a flexible way. If I had to put a name to the work that we've done all these years, Sam, it would be to increase your flexible mindset. And when I think of the young man I met when you were in 7th grade, very stressed, worried all the time, a bit of what we like to call a black and white or all or nothing thinker, it just astounds me to see how very far you've come. You catch yourself from time to time going back into those difficult habitual patterns of thinking, but you use the strategies you've cultivated to relax with whatever comes up, knowing that it will all come together. You ask for help when you need it, and you are really starting to see that more often than not, you can handle it all on your own. I'm so proud of the hard work you've done here at Norman Howard. This has been a place where you could really blossom. And as you begin your college career and you drive by on your way to class at MCC, I know you'll be reminded of how you started, but even more importantly, of how you finished. As a strong, flexible thinker with confidence and an eagerness to experience all that the future holds for you. It's been an honor to walk alongside you on this path. And the thing is, you're still not finished. So keep working hard, and when necessary, just give it your some, not your all, just your some. Thank you for all that you've taught me, and you know that's been a lot. I wish you and all of your classmates the very best as you embark on new adventures. Congratulations, my friend.
Phil Humphreys will now speak for Jack W. Engel.
I'm honored to speak to you tonight on behalf of Jack Engel. In classic Jack fashion, halfway through the 3rd quarter, Jack realized that he had no speaker for graduation, and so he came down to my class one day. He said, Mr. Humphreys, pause. Could you sort of, pause, be my, pause, speaker, pause, for graduation? When I said I would be happy to, Jack said, cool. I sat back down, and I heard nothing about it. But that's not a surprise to any of us who know Jack, as he can be a man of few words. But one of the reasons that I have gotten to know Jack, particularly this year, is that he is the master of independently advocating for assistance. Often if there was an assignment, Jack would be right outside my door as I was getting started for the day. And I would say, Jack, what's up? And he would say, Mr. Humphreys, I need a little help with my homework. At which point we would find out that his computer, which he loves, was inevitably uncharged, and he would be unable to use it, so we would shift to his phone, at which point we would realize that it inevitably was unable to connect to the internet at the school, and so we would shift to paper, and at that point, and Sam would show up, and then Marissa would show up, and Elizabeth was already there, so it became a mini class for the entire, and that happened like 4 out of 5 days of the week. It was great. We had a lot of fun with it. Jack has been driven to succeed in the working world from an early age, from his legendary stint in the produce department at Tops in Brighton to his current job in welding. Jack has always been driven to succeed. And this is something that I was talking to a bunch of the faculty about earlier today. Just the fact that here's a young man, you have to think about this. He leaves Norman Howard School, goes to work at his welding job, gets out late at night, and then comes back to school on time the next day throughout the week. And this is on top of staying for extra time to work with Mr. C in the ecology program, which he didn't even need for graduation, but stayed for because he enjoyed doing that type of stuff. This is an example of the level of maturity that is a hallmark of who Jack is. Now, in Disney, we found out, because I'd never really hung out a lot with Jack other than the classroom, but it was in Disney that we found out a lot more about Jack's humor and personality. Jack was determined to experience the senior trip to its fullest. And although he and I both agreed that there were some rides, I would say that were not happening, we decided to. But he hit the ground every day running, and by night he was ready to crash with the rest of his classmates. And as one of Sam's good buddies, his oft-repeated phrase of, "Sam, take a breath," became the watchword not only of the trip, but for the rest of the senior year. But it's with his work at the Arc and Flame Center that Jack's maturity and skill really have come out. In his senior year, Jack completed his certificate for welding and immediately had a job offer. He's now set on a career path that will provide him with a lifetime of employment and security, as well as an understanding of his deep desire for independence and challenges. Jack, a life well lived is often defined as one where you have taken every chance that you could have in your life. You have lived that experience, whether in school, earning your Eagle Scout, or in the work world. And you're just getting out of high school. Your maturity and dedication to your work and your friends is a true testament to who you are. I have no doubt that there will be more successes and adventures as you move forward in your post-high school life. Congratulations, Jack, on your graduation.
And now speaking for Amelia Lehman is Victoria Lehman.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm Amelia's mother. And I have to be honest with you, it came as quite a shock to me that Mimi wanted me to introduce her because as often Mimi's developmentally appropriate teenage disdain for her parents is in fact evident. But that aside, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce Mimi, whose given name is actually Amelia, but it's spelled different, anyways. But more about that later. So Mimi is the fourth of 4 girls, and she has kept her dad and I on our very old toes, as she wants to tell us, because we're ancient. When she finally started talking, which took a while, it was in metaphors, and I turned to my husband and I said, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. And that did in fact prove true over the years as we navigated various appointments and therapies and doctors, looking for ways to help Mimi understand the world, which can be a pretty confusing place for someone who literally speaks in metaphors. I'm not kidding. It's crazy. Anyways, so a little story. So finally, however, in 8th grade, Mimi finally had the good sense to, after one particularly frustrating English class, she silently, at the end of it, all the students were out, I've been told I was not there, picked up her binder and without saying a word, chucked it as hard as she could at the wall right next to her teacher, which she missed the teacher, which was probably really good. And the teacher was shocked and appalled by this uncharacteristic outburst. I wasn't, but anyways. The teacher called after her, and Mimi just sort of continued on her merry way down the hallway into her next class. So I am a teacher, and as such, I do not generally condone behavior such as this, but as Mimi's mother, I was like, yes. She finally had acted out enough for a placement at Norman Howard. Your time at Norman Howard was a gift. We fought hard for it, and it may not have always seemed like a gift, but it really was. Since coming to Norman Howard, Mimi has grown into a delightful, usually, humorous young woman who uses words instead of just metaphors, and I don't believe she has felt the need to whip a binder at anyone lately. Did you do that? Okay, good. All right, I wasn't told, so sometimes, you don't want parents to know stuff. We are so very grateful to all of the administrators, the faculty and staff, and the students of Norman Howard that have helped to shape Mimi into the person you see in front of you. Mimi is a steadfast and loyal friend. She's intrigued by and knowledgeable of both history and pop culture, and she can recite an amazing number of obscure, weird factoids related to a whole variety of topics. Do we have one for today?
Today is the anniversary of Elvis's last performance.
Very happy. Mimi is a wicked good violinist. She plays the piano like a pro, and she has a really, truly enviable Spotify list that ranges in all sorts of things from Johnny Cash to Queen, Dolly Parton to Cass Elliot, and sprinkled with, yes, some Taylor Swift. She does not, however, have any Jerry Lee Lewis on here because she classifies him as no talent. So circling back, the name Amelia is Latin, which is appropriate because I am in fact a Latin teacher, also weird. And as the fourth girl, we had sort of run out of names a little bit. But it comes from the Emilianus family in Rome, and it means industrious and hardworking. Mimi, you have worked harder than most people I know to get where you are. Whatever you ultimately decide you want to do, whether it be further education or something else, you should always know how much your father and I, as well as your sisters, extended family, and friends love you, and how proud we are of your accomplishments. We know that whatever you set your mind to do, you will do it well, and you will do it honestly, on your own timeline, of course, and true to yourself. And by that, I mean with wit and determination and a manner of expression that, far from the disability it once seemed to be, now defines you and makes up the fabric of this young woman we're proudly celebrating tonight. Go Mimi!
And now speaking for Erica Lynn Lilly is Valerie Fitzgerald.
Good evening. I'm Val Fitzgerald, and I'm Erica's grandmother / nana. I wouldn't respond to the word grandma. I wouldn't know that she was calling me, so it's always been nana. And this is Erica Lilly, and I'm here to introduce you to our Erica. She is my firstborn granddaughter out of now 11 granddaughters. Wow, what a day that was. Even though I have 11, I don't think that day could be duplicated being my first. Before she was born, I made a labor and delivery basket for my daughter that included one of those Staples easy buttons for her labor and delivery, as I tried to express to her that the labor and delivery actually is the easy part. I didn't necessarily expect the challenges to start so quickly. Most babies born after about 2 hours take a real long nap. maybe 12 hours or more. Sometimes you have to wake them to feed them. Erica didn't sleep for over 72 hours. That included napping. I got a phone call from my exhausted daughter. She was panicked. She wanted to know what the process was of sending her back. And I knew that I needed to be activated into service quite quickly. As a pediatric nurse for over a decade, I was viewed as a baby whisperer, so I didn't expect any challenge with getting her to sleep. I knew all the tricks. Yep, I was wrong. Sleep issues continued for Erica for the rest of her youth and now into her young adulthood. She still doesn't sleep through the night. She has been found on the refrigerator at 3 a.m. when she was a young toddler, and when asked what she was doing, all she said was schnacks. She's self-administered many haircuts in the night. And there was one instance during her preschool days where she got into the green printer ink and had to go to preschool looking like a character from The Wizard of Oz for a few weeks until that all wore off. She did start with a great academic initial start. In her pre-K years, her special uniqueness was noted and was especially recognized by her classroom mate, Sam. No naps were taken with the rest of the group, I can assure you that, but her ability to entertain herself and her exemplified compassion and kindness to others, along with her exceptionally sweet and contagious giggle, which you couldn't even sometimes understand what it was related to, were enjoyed. By grade 2, our academic wars began. During her middle school years, Erica had developed a moderate dislike of her academic environment. She was beginning to feel less than isolated and bullied, and you could see that the life was being sucked right out of her. This escalated into a complete loathing of school. I want to extend a great thanks to her family and all of those invested in her academic achievements. A special honor is due to her mother, Brandis, for her tireless advocacy, diligence, and maternal commitment. We experienced many traumas and losses during COVID. However, one benefit of COVID was that it turned out to be an understanding of Erica's homeschool would not be able to meet her needs once she transferred to high school. Finally, we saw the doorway to Norman Howard. Her pediatrician, Dr. Flender, was a strong proponent of Norman Howard and just spoke so highly. And we dreamed of it as if it was Oz. Her identified ADHD and ASD and the progressing stress and anxiety associated with those diagnoses affected everyone in her life, and the course had a negative impact on her desire to learn and eventually her attendance as well. Erica transferred here at the start of 9th grade, and she gave us a lot of resistance before that because Norman Howard had a uniform requirement, and it wasn't fair. And we heard about that for the months before in every waking moment. Surprisingly, she did become a cheerleader for the uniform requirement here, mostly because there were some days that she still continued to say, nope. From the first day that she started here, she has morphed from an unhappy, anxious, unchallenged child into the very different young adult you see here today, who will be going on to attend Roberts Wesleyan School of Nursing, seeking her bachelor's degree in nursing in the fall. While at Norman Howard, they have been able to promote a learning environment that has allowed her to blossom. It has been her metaphorical miracle grow. They have fostered a previously unfounded confidence and sense of self in others. They have inspired her learning desires and inquisitive, sometimes contrary, she might be identified as argumentative, nature. Norman Howard has been likened to her as a lighthouse. keeping her academic, social, and overall developmental growth in safe waters. It's been so satisfying witnessing the self-pride she has experienced over the past few years, seeing her grades doubled in number, and even being on the honor roll for the first time ever. The things that she will miss about Norman Howard are going to be things such as best buddies, drama in the plays, her friends Mimi and Contrell, Maker's Place, Ecology, Mr. C, which was my goal of meeting him this evening, and all the teachers and staff. Some things that Norman Howard might miss about Erica are her sometimes sad attempts at comedy, her academic color coordination, her flexibility, leadership, her vocal opinions, her hackneyed use of the phrases literally, not fair, yeah but, dude, and bro. Here are my suggestions as you transition into a young adult and the rest of your classmates. Do what excites you and not what is expected. Don't wait for life to just happen, make a plan. A life worth living must be taken, never given. Take time to consider what is needed within your recipe of success. And listen more. And register to vote. In closing, those that know Erica know her love of Harry Potter and Hogwarts. So I'm going to share a couple of appropriate quotes. For Ron Weasley, he said, "Don't let the Muggles get you down." And Albus Dumbledore enlightened us with, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if only one remembers to turn on the light, Lumos." And now, Harry, let us step out into the night and pursue that flightly temptress adventure. Erica, her entire circle of friends and family, myself, all want to thank everyone here at Norman Howard, beyond words, that has invested themselves into Eric's academic success. We did not picture this happening when she was in the 8th grade. We were very saddened. We are so very proud of you today and can't wait to see you take on your next challenge in the nursing program at Roberts. Thank you.
Sherry Shuck will speak for Brendan Marcagiani.
So I'm honored to have been chosen by Brendan. It's funny though, similar story that Mr. Humphrey shared about Jack, because Brendan just walked in and was like, my mom said I need to ask someone. So can you do it? I was like, sure, and just walked down there. All right. But I taught Brendan, or I started teaching Brendan in 7th grade. When you started halfway through the school year, just added to our class. It was awesome. And he scared me the first, or I became his advisor the next year too, and for Halloween he dressed up. Who was it you were? Do you remember?
Michael Myers.
Yes, Michael Myers. I don't do the whole horror movie thing, so I didn't even know who that was. But I was sitting at my desk and looking at the window that was behind me, and he came up from behind me, looking into the window, and I almost died. So it was very scary. And then you got really mad at me for not knowing who Michael Myers was. But yeah, so this is Brendan, otherwise known as the Great Brangini. He chose this name for himself, and I don't think he realizes how accurate a name it is. It gives me an image of a magician who puts on a great performance that is entertaining and profoundly unique, and that is Brendan. He is magical, entertaining, and so unique and great. So, I found 3 quotes from people that I know you admire. The combination of these 3 people is even more proof of Brendan's uniqueness. And that face right there. All right, so quote number 1 is from Jim Henson.
Oh.
Yeah, public guy. The most sophisticated people I know, inside they are all children. Brendan totally exemplifies this quote. He is still able to see the world.
He's still able to see the world through a child's eyes, but then magically connects that view with an adult view of the world. A couple of years ago, Brendan introduced me to the wonderful world of his puppet shows. He had a massive collection of recordings from his puppet theater club that he was in middle school. To be honest, they were really weird, dude. But these multiple episodes showed his level of creativity, as well as the joy he had in creating them, but also his sense of helping those viewing it to be able to just enjoy something funny. Brendan also has not lost that childlike ability to try new things without fear. In the past few years, he has tried his hand at painting, writing music, photography, singing, and acting. His performance as Horton the Elephant stands out as one where he was able to balance the absurdity of an elephant sitting on a bird's nest to hatch an egg, with the reality that not feeling alone in the world was more important than looking silly. The year we shut down for COVID, Brendan was my advisee again, and he sent me an email during the day to ask me to log into Google Meet. I didn't see it right away, and when I logged on, I was concerned that there was something wrong and that he needed to talk to me. But as his face appeared on the screen, I quickly asked him what was the matter, and he said, "I just want to see you." So he has held on to that value of just being with people and spending time with them without an agenda. All right, a second quote from Stephen King. Go from Henson to Stephen. Yes. You see something and then it clicks with something else and it makes a story, but you never know when it's going to happen. Brendan is quite the storyteller. And in this case, I'm not referring to him lying about things, so I'm sure you've done it at some point. But he's generally great at telling stories that engage others. His stories are engaging because they come from his perspective, and you know that he's giving a part of himself in every story he tells. If any of you have seen his numerous YouTube videos, you totally know what I'm talking about. And you totally know that each video is solely Brendan's creation. He always keeps his eyes and mind open to the stories that he can see in others too. When he returned from the awesome senior trip to Disney, he wanted to show me pictures from the trip. I expected to see pictures of some of the rides and his friends and some Disney characters or something, but the ones he was most eager to share with me were a picture of Eddie and a janitor guy. They weren't together, they were two different pictures. He took a picture of Eddie while he was waiting in line for a ride. Then he explained to me how we had to then take another picture from a different angle to capture the real Eddie. So he was able to see, yeah, that's awesome. Then he showed me a picture of a random Disney employee. He was standing near his cleaning cart and waiting for some people to pass by. Brendan showed it to me and said he just felt like it was a picture of a man that was content in his job and just looked really cool. So Brendan sees the stories in people and he tries to capture them. But Brendan also has a vivid imagination that is not burdened by what we expect from stories. That's a nice way of saying that you are very unique in the way that you think of things. When I taught Brendan in 9th grade, he and the 3 other boys that were in that class wrote a story about a little boy named Babushka. They ended up writing a lengthy story by the end of the year about this Babushka and his best friend, 8-year-old Al Capone, and Babushka's dad, Iggy Pop. I was impressed that Brendan knew who Iggy Pop was, and none of the other boys knew who he was, so he had to explain. It was hilarious, and Brendan still not only allows me to share the story, but requests that I share it with my 7th graders each year. And then the last quote from Mr. Rogers: "If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet. You have been so important to me, Brendan, and so have all of you, because you were the first class that I ever taught here at NHS. I had only 7th graders that year, and it was all you." And you. Yep. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. See, that's being aware of other people. Awesome. You taught me how to be a better teacher, how to see every student's disabilities as a strength and a way for me to be creative as a teacher, and to just have more fun in the classroom. But Brendan, you're the only student graduating here tonight who was in my 9th grade ELA and writing classes. The only one who walked into my room this year as a senior, sat down at a desk, pretended to begin class, and none of the 7th graders questioned it at all. Because every year you come in, you talk to them, you get to know them. It's not just to say hi to me, you get to know my 7th graders. and they feel awesome because they have an older student who cares about them and wants to talk to them. And I'm sad that next year's 7th graders will sadly be deprived of your awesomeness. Brendan, please know that you've had a positive impact on all of us. I've seen the way you built friendships with your classmates, the ways that you encourage others, and the joy you have in making others happy. My wish for you moving forward is that you embrace your awesomeness and use it to continue striving to make others smile. And if that YouTube channel thing takes off and you end up being a movie director as your dream job is, please hire Milo for acting. Because at the senior banquet, you promised to buy me a fur coat to go to the premiere of whatever movie he starred in. So I think you should make that happen, okay? Thanks. So congratulations.
And now speaking for Sin A. Parisi is Philip Humphreys.
I'm sorry, I have to take a moment just because I'm so proud that we are here at this point, because there were points during the rest of the year that I was not sure we were going to be here, but I am so beyond honored tonight to be speaking for Sin Parisi. In the Italian language, there is a word, coraggio, which means courage. Now, courage can come in all kinds of situations. There can be courage on the battlefield or courage in a sporting event. But what I want to talk to you guys about tonight is courage of facing every day, which is what I think of when I think of Sin Parisi. Now, I knew a bit about Sin before she came to Norman Howard School, as she had been my sister's student in Churchville. But I didn't realize what a talented, intelligent, and strong person that I was going to be getting in my 11th grade writing class, and as my advisee in grade 12. For writing is an area where Sin shines. It is through both expository and creative writing that the passion for life and the world surrounding Sin shines forth. And although, if I'm going to be honest, some of the stories could veer off into worlds that I was personally not excited about exploring with Sin, it was the raw talent and the emotion that really connected with me. And it is my hope that Sin continues to tap into this method of expression for years to come. Reading is another passion for Sin. One of the great joys of teaching Sin is being able to sit down and debate the novels that we have read, or Sin's favorite novels, and why as she would come in and say, I simply must read them. Sin's reading taste is eclectic and can run the gamut from adolescent fiction to serious works. And as with Sin's writing, while I may not always be connected with it, stories such as, and I did read this one, I Fell in Love with Hope, demonstrate, I did, and I loved it. It is so good. It demonstrates the depth of connection that Sin feels for the characters and the situations they are placed in, and how these experiences translate into real-world situations. And as I got to know Sin better, particularly in 12th grade, it became very obvious that there were depths to Sin's personality that many do not often see. Sin truly is one of the most naturally, socially conscious students I've ever taught. Sin's innate kindness, faith, concern, and desire to understand and help the world is second nature to their personality, particularly when working on issues related to social justice and the LGBTQ community. Sin is always searching for the connections that will raise awareness and bring people together. Sin, and you knew I was going to take this one tiny shot, our time together was too short more often than not, but your passion and excitement for the world have become something that I will always remember and admire. William Shakespeare, even though I know we've debated his use as a writer, William Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet that to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night follows the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Meaning that if you never forget who you are always going to see the truth, no matter what you do in life. Sin, coraggio means always facing the world with your eyes wide open and secure and content with who you are. I personally look forward someday to reading the next great American novel from you, and I expect a signed copy. Congratulations on your graduation.
And now Patricia Ryan will speak for Edward W. Reed.
I'm honored to be speaking for Eddie tonight. Although Eddie came to Norman Howard way back in middle school, I've only had the pleasure of knowing Eddie for this past year. Me being a geeky high school math teacher and former engineer, and Eddie being an inquisitive thinker type who aspires to be an engineer, we quickly bonded over, well, the game of Uno. And of course, the intriguing aspects of Algebra 2. The game of Uno, much like life and engineering, requires strategic thinking, foresight, and adaptability. Eddie embodies these qualities. He is a deep and thoughtful thinker, viewing situations from many different perspectives. Whether he's planning his next move in a game, solving a complex problem, or trying to find a new algorithm to use in Algebra 2, he did that. Eddie's deep thinking is always evident. In fact, in school you might see him standing on the sidelines, taking things in and thinking. Eddie also emanates kindness and consideration for others in all that he does. He's ready to share his ideas and suggestions with those who might need help, especially his younger brother, Andy, whom he often helps with homework. Eddie has taken part in many local walks to raise funds for charity and has helped at his local fire department. His support and care for others reflects his kind heart and selfless nature. Of course, I never saw this quality in our Uno matches. He would happily slap me with a draw 5 card with a rather big smile on his face. Eddie's inquisitive spirit drives him to ask why and delve deeper into areas of interest. This curiosity and desire to understand the world has fueled a passion for engineering. From designing unique items at home, like cool tables and desks, to winning a third place in an RIT engineering challenge, Eddie's engineering mind has been evident from a very young age. He has plans to attend FLCC in the fall to pursue an engineering science degree and hopes to transfer into a mechanical engineering program. I have no doubt that his natural curiosity, thoughtful thinking, and problem-solving abilities will serve him well. Eddie, as you set your sights on college to pursue engineering, I can't help but draw parallels between your approach to Uno and what lies ahead in your academic and professional journey. Remember the lessons of the game, embrace the challenges, stay resilient in the face of setbacks, and trust in your ability to adapt and overcome. And it might be okay to hand out a draw 5 card occasionally. Life, much like Uno, is unpredictable. It throws many unexpected challenges and opportunities our way. But what matters most is not that hand you're dealt, but rather how you choose to play it. Congratulations, Eddie. Your next journey is just beginning, and the world of engineering will be fortunate to have an out-of-the-box thinker like you. Congratulations.
And now speaking for Marissa L. Seelock is Adam Salufo.
Don't worry, the mic's not on. I'm not gonna tell anybody that you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day. Strawberry jam. And pretzels. Hello, my name is Adam Salufo, and I'm thrilled to be up here speaking on behalf of Marissa Seeloff. I've known Marissa for 4 years, since she was a wide-eyed freshman in my Earth Science class. Since then, she took Earth Science 2 and Ecology as a 10th grader, 2 science classes. And our academic marathon concluded last year when she took Ecology 2, where I was also her academic advisor. She said that she was bummed that she couldn't be the first student ever to take Eco 3 because of her hands-on welding and manufacturing program this year, because she wanted to keep her eyes on me and make sure I was doing everything correctly in the garden. Almost immediately 4 years ago, she shared her sense of humor, sarcasm, and high-octane energy level, and I knew that she and I would get along great. She always took a circuitous route to get from point A to point B, and one may consider saying that she meanders. Her science show. Marissa is loud, energetic, rarely stops talking, and is the only student whom I got to see on Spectrum News for good stuff. She's been a solid ambassador of our outdoor programs and signed up for anything if it wasn't in a classroom and involved some sort of physical activity. Ski club, outdoor ed, hiking, crazy kayaking adventures, all the work in the gardens and in the green space. She took on a leadership role and was my go-to person for many things we had to accomplish in our outdoor ecology program. Speaking of the garden, we had a lot of fun putting together our sustainable agriculture, new age energy, organic outdoor empire, the 2 years that she was in the program. Because of her aversion to anything quiet, I had to put this riddle in your speech. What is so fragile, even saying its name can break it? Silence. And all these teachers and students on the stage can attest that unless Marissa was absent from school, silence would not occur. She has what us folks in the business like to call no inner monologue, which also means no inside voice. The classroom isn't for everyone. A cinder block box with traditional methods can be super difficult, and it was and still is for Marissa, but get her outdoors and she thrives. I got to see a side of Marissa that many other people don't get to see. During our outdoor adventures, Marissa was able to highlight her leadership qualities, empathy for others, willingness to go that extra step and to take responsibility for the group. Whether it be cooking or cleaning for the group during outdoor ed trips, lending a hand to make syrup, being the point person while making apple cider, using the crusher and press, being a solid contributor and helping us at Ski Club. There are literally dozens of examples that I can highlight. She also sails, hikes, and works several jobs. She's able to use her powers for good, and I'm super proud of her. During the 4th quarter of her junior year, she was dangerously close to the pass-fail mark in ELA, or was it writing, or was it both? I can't remember. Regardless, I had to literally drag her to Mr. H's room to complete a bunch of work during the final weeks of the school year. And it was a super close call, but it all worked out. Otherwise, this stage scenario wouldn't be occurring right now. So you're welcome. While we were COVID Zooming classes, the kids were attempting to create planetary orbits out of household supplies for one of our labs. Cottrell threw her whatever it was into a bunch of her parents' wine bottles. Marissa went outside barefoot with snow on the ground trying to find her planet. Let's just say she was all in if it had to do with being outside. So we had a lot of good adventures with that lab. Just remember this on your graduation day. So long as your desire to explore is greater than your desire to not screw up, you're on the right track. We as a community will miss you around our halls. I will miss your sarcasm, passion, sense of humor, and willingness to not wear the dress code ever. And your energy and enthusiasm on all of the hikes we did at the Nature Center. Marissa will focus next year on the 2nd year of her welding and manufacturing program and work several jobs before deciding what to do with the next part of a highly energetic adventure, of which I am certain she will be ultra successful. Your family is extremely proud of you too. You can't imagine the sense of relief they're experiencing right now with your graduation. In fact, this would be a most opportune time to ask for money. Congrats and good luck, young lady. And
Okay, so now we've come to the moment of handing out diplomas. So, We would like each graduate to rise as I call your name and come forward to accept your diploma. Charles Richard Calcanny. George T. Chapman III. Jordan Lynn Green. Cottrell Bailey Grover. Elizabeth Catherine Henry. Miles F.S. Howe. Samuel Huang. Jack W. Engel. Amelia Lehman. Erica Lynn Lilly. Brendan Marcagiani. Sin A. Parisi. Edward W. Reed. Marissa L. Seelon.
Congratulations to our class of 2024. Thank you all for joining us at this very, very special occasion. I would like to invite everyone to join us in the lobby for a reception to celebrate our graduates following the ceremony. To our parents and our families, Bruce will be here taking photographs of the graduates and their families in the theater immediately following the ceremony. If you would like a family photo taken with your graduate, please stay seated and come back into the theater before you leave. So at this time, can our graduates please rise? It is my honor
to announce we're going to move our tassels to the left side. It is our great pleasure to introduce the Norman Howard School graduating class of 2024. Congratulations.